Hi, this is David Westin, and I want to tell you about Bloomberg News Now. It's news when you want it on your schedule. These are short audio reports, 5 minutes or less, that bring you the latest headlines with context 24 hours a day. Get it on your smartphone with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any podcast platform. And if you're still not sure, here's a sample of today's latest report from our team at Bloomberg News Now.
News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager. TikTok may still be on the clock. A federal appeals panel in Washington, D.C. has upheld the law that would ban the wildly popular video sharing app in the U.S. unless its Chinese owner ByteDance sells it by the day before Inauguration Day next month. Bloomberg technology host Caroline Hyde has more.
This is important because half of all Americans use TikTok, and even the president to be in 2025 uses TikTok. So the view is that probably nothing gets held up. We do hit, but they appeal, and basically that's going to push it into the long grass. We'll probably get like a 90-day extension come January the 19th, so that it then is dealt with by the next administration.
And Bloomberg's Caroline Hyde reports it could make enforcement of the ban more complicated with Trump's embrace of TikTok. In the meantime, the company's competitors are soaring on Wall Street. Meta Platforms, the parent of Facebook and Instagram, is up 2%. Snap, owner of Snapchat, is higher by nearly 3%. The broader market is rallying off a comeback in the labor force. The November jobs report showed 227,000 new non-farm positions created after the double whammy of storms and strikes in October. The unemployment rate ticked up to 4.2%, but Acting Labor Secretary Julie Su says that is still quite low.
Those are all signs of an economy that is, not just recovered, but has been consistently strong and stable and continuing to grow.
Acting Labor Secretary Julie Su spoke to Bloomberg Television, and we also got consumer sentiment data from the University of Michigan. It's up the most since April after Donald Trump's election win. Joanne Shu is Michigan's Director of Consumer Surveys.
By and large, Republicans expect labor markets to strengthen. Democrats expect labor markets to weaken. And independents, they're still trying to figure things out. They're not really reporting much of a change from last month.
Joanne Shu of the University of Michigan spoke on Bloomberg Radio. One-year inflation expectations jumped in this survey from 2.7 to 2.9%, a sign that consumers could be bracing for tariffs. But the labor numbers have investors thinking the Federal Reserve could have room to cut interest rates this month, though Fed Governor Michelle Bowman is still preaching caution.
Lowering the policy rate too quickly could unnecessarily stoke demand and potentially reignite inflationary pressures, which was another concern that I had at the time.
Governor Bowman spoke at a bankers event in Missouri, but the market right now is mostly adding to its records, with the S&P 500 up 0.25% right now, getting close to 6,100. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is little changed, but the NASDAQ Composite is higher by 0.6%, and the policy-sensitive 2-year Treasury yield is down 3 basis points to close to 4.11%. The manhunt is now into its third day for the gunman who shot and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown Manhattan this week. The New York Post is reporting that investigators are processing bullets, a water bottle, and a Starbucks cup recovered near the scene. DNA results, the report says, could be days away. New York City Mayor Eric Adams was on CNBC this morning.
There's a lot of new information that our detectives and other law enforcement entities were able to find based on their good old-fashioned police work. Right. But as you know, there's a level of sensitivity that you don't want to do anything that's going to endanger the investigation or to tip off the suspect.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams there, and police are also offering a $10,000 reward for information. President-elect Trump is offering more support for Pete Hegseth. Trump posted on Truth Social that support for his defense secretary nominee is, quote, strong and deep, much more so than the fake news would have you believe, end quote. Hegseth says he has overcome his past alcohol abuse.
I'm a different man than I was years ago, and that's a redemption story that I think a lot of Americans appreciate.
But Pete Hegseth has yet to win the support of Republican Senator Joni Ernst. She's calling for a full investigation into allegations of sexual and financial misconduct. Support for the video sharing site Rumble is building on Wall Street. Those shares are up 21%. Trump has named David Sachs to be his first artificial intelligence and crypto czar. Sachs is a venture capital investor who holds more than 1 million shares of Rumble. Lululemon stock is up 17% following strong overseas sales for the athleisure brand. Bloomberg's Bailey Lipschultz has that.
U.S. sales ended up being flat on the third quarter, but the big growth, 39% jump in China. When you're trying to tease out what companies are going to be better positioned for the move forward, clearly seems like Lululemon is tapping Asia, which I don't think many analysts really had on their bingo card.
Bloomberg's Bailey Lipschultz reporting. Chevron says it's cutting low-carbon investments by a fourth as the oil explorer trims spending across the board and prioritizes profits over energy output. Right now, Chevron shares are lower by more than 2%. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.